Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to some more comics I read this week. This week I got 6 books. So I guess we'll jump right into it. First book we got here is Constantine the Hellblazer. Um, this is part of like the DCU, like DCYOU thing, where they like after the New 52, they like made this short-lived DCU thing. Um, this is like okay. So last week I read the New 52 Constantine, and this is like after that. And I'm a big fan of the regular Hellblazer comic. I haven't read the Rebirth one yet, but I don't have those yet. But okay, so I've read the regular Constantine, regular Hellblazer, then Constantine from New 52, and now Constantine the Hellblazer. This is the worst of those three. People hate the New 52 Constantine, but I don't hate the New 52 Constantine. I think it's all right. This is not horrible, but it's the worst of the three. Like, it's not really good. I don't like the art. I don't like the kind of goofiness of it. There's like too much goofiness. Let me give you an idea. Like John Constantine is like putting ads on Craigslist or something to get jobs, and he's like running around solving wacky cases in one panel. It's really dumb. It's not Constantine. It's like, it's not like completely horrible, but like Jesus, come on. And like Constantine is like an ineffective loser in this too. Like he's not I mean, he kind of always is, but like the thing with Constantine is that like he, you know, when you're the title character of this, you got to do something good, right? You got to do something that's awesome. Everyone like every once in a while, but like he's got all these like the first story arc in this is like he's just running around failing like he normally does, but like usually when Constantine fails, like it means that like it's like a pyrrhic victory. So he'll like beat whatever he's fighting, but then like somebody knows he'll die. He'll have to pay some horrible price for it. In this one, it's like he just relies on somebody else to do it, and then he doesn't do anything awesome, and just he's a dick. Well, I'm not gonna pick it up. It's too far away now. It fell out of my hand. But it like realistically, this this Constantine is the worst Constantine. If Constantine is worse than this in some place, like at least in New 52, I mean it's goofy because in New 52 he's like crossing over with Justice League Dark and whatever, but like at least he's still doing awesome stuff, right? At least he's not like kind of dumb. Like it's like someone whoever wrote that one, it's like they had an idea, someone told them what John Constantine is, and then they just like went off on this different thing of uh like a game of telephone. Like somebody told somebody else what Constantine was like, and that person told this person who was writing it what Constantine was like, and they just based it off of that. Like they don't get it. I think they don't get the way Constantine works, so that one's the worst. There's only one more book of that actually. That series got canceled pretty quickly before they restarted it in Rebirth, but I mean I'll probably get it just like for completion's sake, but like man, I actually want to read the remaining New 52 books I don't have, but like that one I'm just gonna like geez, not so hot. But yeah, let's continue on. We've got Joe the Barbarian. This is a Vertigo book written by Grant Morrison. It's I mean, it's good. This one is pretty good. But it's not like it's not like a superhero comic. This kid here has some kind of, he's got like um, diabetes or something, and he's like going into like hypoglycemic shock. And well, like in the beginning, he gets bullied, and they like take his bullies take his candy, and he needs the candy to stop from being in hypoglycemia. But like he gets home and he doesn't have anything to eat, and he's like in his room and he's like not paying attention. He starts hallucinating, and so he's the story here is that like he's hallucinating in this like hallucinating world. He's like this kind of chosen one type of savior type fellow. So he's like fighting through his house to get to somewhere where he can get something with sugar in it. Some soda is like what he's looking for. But like, you know, he can't see. He's like, because what he sees is like the fantasy world, so he has to like try and figure out where he is, and he's like flipping back between the real world and the fantasy world, and he's like, you know, his pet rat is there, and it's like talking to him and is like anthropomorphic in the fantasy world. He's like meeting people that he knows from other places, and he's going on this kind of crazy adventure when it's just like him going through the house. It's pretty cool. This was a lot better than the last book, but this was a good read. It was quick too. You know, I think it's 8 issues maybe. It's like 8 issues collected into this book, and it's like an 8-issue series, but it was good. I enjoyed it. It's kind of like, there are some like basic ideas of it that are just kind of like, you have to kind of overlook, like, you know, like this kid Joe, his, you know, like his father died, and they don't have like the way to pay for their house, and his mother is like trying to get a loan, and she gets denied the loan, but like in the story he like finds something behind a picture that's like the deeds to the house. Like, it's weird because like, it's not how financial things work. If you own the house and you don't have a deed, you can just like apply for them to be reissued. It's not like something like, if you lose it, you lose your house. But like, you know, that's like my only complaint, really, that there's that kind of like goofiness, right? Next we got the all new Atom, The Hunt for Ray Palmer. Okay, this is like Ryan Choi Atom, and it's also I got it because I was like, oh, is this like a one-off book where it's just like Ryan Choi hunting for Ray Palmer? That sounds all right. So I was like, you know, kind of, but like, what happened is I got it home and I realized like, oh, it's just like a few issues out of like the run of this all new Atom. Let me tell you, this is straight up trash. It's garbage. Like, at first I thought like the story is kind of all right, but like even that goes away. So like, this is 5 issues out of like 5 issues where Ryan Choi is hunting for Ray Palmer. First, dialogue crazy dated. It starts off like, and you're just like, who is writing this terrible dialogue? This is a Gail Simone book. Man, I've heard lots of people complain about Gail Simone, like, but I think this is my first thing that I've read by her. I totally understand why people don't like Gail Simone. Look at this. Okay, this line, dude, that equals the Suxor. That's like, this came out in what, like 2000, where is it? It's like 2003 or 6 or 9, I don't know. But like, that's not cool talk for whenever 2007. Nobody was saying that in 2007. That's like early internet, 2001 maybe. But also like all of the dialogue is like that. It's stupid. In the story, like, starts out okay. It's like kind of just like a nice adventure story, but then like it just turns even dumber. It just gets dumber and dumber to the point where it's just like, this is really bad. Like, all of the dialogue is awful. The story is not good. I want to say the art is okay. I don't have any real complaints about the art. Like, it's pretty middling, like you can see. Like, it's not great, but it's not awful either. But man, this sucked. This is like, out of all the stuff I've read recently, this is the worst thing I read. Where I like just thought like, my God, this is terrible. Man, I'm gonna avoid reading Gail Simone stuff forever, I think. Like, holy shit. This was stupendously bad. Like, there are so many examples of just garbage dialogue and uninteresting stories where like even the cool parts where it's just like it could be cool turn out to be bad. So like, let me go into this. Let me give you some more examples, because like I don't just want to say it's bad and like not give you like some specific examples. Like, it starts out with this goofy kind of comedy thing where it's just like, this is a comedy goofiness, and like, okay. And then like Ryan Choi goes home and he's got all these like goofy people having a party at his house. There's like um old mathematician professor who has super hot groupies. Wow, hilarious. Like, fat goofy roommate who is holding the party. All these weirdos gathered at his house while he's been away. Great. Like it's and then like goofy old school like Silver Age villains show up for no reason, and they get easily beaten, and they have like goofy lines that they say, and like that's dumb. And then he gets like taken away to this like kind of part of the I don't know, like Amazon or something, where there's like, there's a goofy kind of, and this part is actually cool. Like he's finds this civilization and they capture him because like this other thing has taken over. Like he's they've mistaken him because there's like someone who's imitating Ray Palmer. And then like, man, this is cool. Like they have to do this arena battle versus snakes because they're small, and then like it just gets dumb from there. Like you're just like, oh, that's cool, and then like, oh, it's so not cool because all the dialogue sucks, and all of the like there's goofy fake Ray Palmer here, and like, he's like obvious, he's like speaks in ridiculous like fake English where he just like says random English words. It's so dumb. Like all of this is really dumb. Like, woo, flying Hitler. It's like, God, this was dumb. God. I'm done. It's so bad. Okay, next. This is League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. This is like huge difference between the fucking that last book, man. I read this directly after that All New Adam, and it's like such a good palate cleanse because God, that was sucked. But League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Alan Moore book, he's taken all these like classic characters. He's got like Alan Quatermain and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and not Baron Nemo, that's a Marvel character. Dr. Nemo from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and The Invisible Man. And they've kind of like gathered this team of them together to fight to figure out like how to get this like anti-gravity thing from this like Chinese warlord. It's cool. I mean, the story is cool. Everything is cool. It's nice to see like there's lots of kind of goofy little inserts where like, like the characters are not what you expect. So like you have the Invisible Man. He's kind of like this like rapist scoundrel. But you'll have like weird kind of inserts where other characters will show up where you'll be like, oh, who is this? There's this very optimistic little girl at this school that they're at. Her name is Pollyanna. Like, it's great. Like, you're just like, oh, okay, I get it. There's like this other literary character showing up. And like, that happens a couple of times where there's just like, they'll make references to people that are other historical, like, what am I thinking of? Not stuff that the copyright has lapsed for. I can't think. I keep wanting to say eminent domain, but I know that's not correct. Whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's no copyright on them anymore, so anybody can use the characters. So a bunch will show up. Like, they'll make references to them, or you'll be able to find them. Like Sherlock Holmes, they talk about a bunch, and Professor Moriarty, and stuff like that. So it's a cool series. I think everybody knows there's a movie that's not so hot, but this is my first reading of the comic, so it was good. I enjoyed this a lot, especially after that last one. Next we've got Kid Eternity by Grant Morrison. I love the art for this book. Let me start out by saying that, like, it's like that kind of painted, like it's not this, Arkham Asylum has this kind of painted, everything is painted. It looks really, cool. I enjoy any art books that like have the the painted style. This is like, you know those like Hellraiser comics that Eclipse used to put out? They're all painted like, not all of them, I guess, but like a bunch of them are painted like this, so it's cool. So, you know, this is you know, it's a Grant Morrison story, so like, it's not like the easiest thing to follow if you're not paying attention. So, you know, it's good though. You know, you've got a guy who, you know, Kid Eternity, like, pops out of this guy's head, and he's been trapped in hell for 30 years. So, what does he do? You know, like, he's pops out of this guy's head, and he wants to bring the guy to hell to like save somebody who's there, and they go and they get somebody out, and that somebody doesn't really need to be saved. He's some kind of like you know, like an agent of order versus agents of chaos, like throughout the world, and they want to like do some kind of Grant Morrison-y thing where they want to like kickstart the evolution of men by destroying things and adding some kind of like chaos magic to it. You know, it's a very Grant Morrison kind of thing, but like, I enjoy this kind of story. It's a you know, it's something you have to think about, but also like the art is good enough that you want to take it slow. You want to just like read it slowly, enjoy the art, look at everything, get it, soak it all in, and it's fun. You get a good look at it. So that is nice. Last thing here, it's classic. This is Absolute Watchmen. This is like one of these giant Absolute edition books. It's great. So it's giant, but also it, you know, like, look at that, huge pages, great. Head open to the one page with a sex scene. But you know, like, everybody knows Watchmen. It's like the most well-selling graphic novel of all time. Like, everybody has read it. It's good. I've read it before too. It's not like this is my first reading of Watchmen, but like, I bought the Absolute edition, and I was just like, yeah, I gotta read Watchmen again. But also the Before Watchmen Omnibus came out, and I got that, so I figured I should read Watchmen again first before I hop into that, just so I don't like miss anything that I might have forgotten from the previous Watchmen. But yeah, this was really good. You know, it's one of my favorite books of all time, really. Can't really complain about Watchmen. It's great in all types of ways. I really, what I did is like I took a special amount of time to pay attention to the pirate story and how it interacts with the normal story and how it like overlaps with the characters in the book. So like the pirate story is basically like a story about what Ozymandias is doing and what he becomes. So like and at the end he just gives it away. Like I don't think I ever noticed that before, because Ozymandias like basically gives away that the pirate story is about him, because he he says like, oh, I had this dream that I was like, being chased by a black ship, but he's like, oh, never mind about that. So like, you the reader know, but like nobody else would know what he's talking about. But like it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of good stuff in Watchmen though. It's just, if you haven't read Watchmen, you really should. It's great. I'm really excited to get into the Before Watchmen Omnibus and see what all those are about. I've heard some of them are really good and some of them are not, so it's kind of, what can you do? Some of them will be good and some of them won't be, but I'll let you know when I finish that one. It's like 1,000 pages. It's going to take a while. But I'll read it in chunks, and eventually I'll talk about it on here. But that's it. That's the 6 books I read this week. I've been on vacation all week, so I've had more time to read stuff. So next week it'll probably be less books, unless I read a lot of small things, but things I'm currently reading are all large. So maybe it's going to be a really short episode next time. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah, I will catch you guys next time.